Okay, so I just watched Blaze's video, and I haven't watched any of the other videos that she's mentioned in her vlog, but I'm just gonna talk, and we'll see how this goes. I, for the most part, I agree, that, okay, so when I joined nerdfighter, I guess you could say, when I started watching videos and I joined the community and I became a part of it and I made these friends, the reason I did that is because there were platforms to communicate with them, on which I could communicate, yeah. And, like, I went to blog TV shows, which were pretty frequent at the time, and I stuck around in the chats, and I talked to people, and I got a Twitter, and I tweeted at them, and I went on the Ning, and I started a collab channel with some people. And I did these things that made me feel like I was a part of the group. Like, made me feel like my opinion was being heard, and that what I was saying mattered, and that I contributed to things. And while I agree that it's natural that this is going to change, this community isn't going to stay the same thing, and it's not, the definition that we had for nerdfighteria back in 2007 isn't going to be the same definition that we have now in 2011. That totally makes sense. I would, frankly, I'd be pretty bored, I think, if it was the exact same thing for 4 years. That would be a lot. Granted, I wasn't around in 2007, but that's besides the point. For the sake of keeping people's interests and to stimulate thoughts and stuff like that, I think it is important that this changes as a community and that we grow and that we develop new techniques and new interests and new things. That said, I feel like it's becoming more of a channel and less of a community. It's definitely still a community, and I mean, there are things like the gathering in Pittsburgh, where, I mean, it's just a bunch of nerd fighters gathering together, and that is physically a community. That is a community in the purest sense of the word. But that doesn't carry over into many other places, and I mean, it's hard when you're this group of people that is based on the internet to take it and apply it to IRL and, like, the real world and stuff. So when we do have these opportunities, it's great, but I don't feel like we're living up to our full potential in ways that we could introduce this fun awesomeness that we have when we do get together IRL to the internet. There are lots of ways we can communicate online, whether it's forums. I mean, we have the Reddit, and I think about the Reddit, and I don't really understand it. I like the idea of it because we do lack a platform for discussion as a community right now. And I think that the Reddit is at least a start. And I'm really grateful that Shane put it together, and he's awesome. But on the other hand, like I said, I don't understand it, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. I mean, I probably could figure it out really easily, but it's not as familiar of territory, and I don't know, I just haven't, I haven't been hooked, you know, like, physically, yeah. And I wish I could say I had, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think that necessarily means that the Reddit is a bad thing. I think it's great. I'm just trying to think of ways where we can provide that same appeal that the Reddit has to the people who use it to other people who don't necessarily have that interest in the Reddit. And I mean, I think about FEA Nerd Fighters and starting that blog a year and a half ago or whenever it was, and like why it's successful, and I think a lot of it is that these nerd fighters have stuff that they want to say and that they want to show to people, and right now we're the biggest way they can do that, because John and Hank, I mean, understandably, they can't respond to everyone's cool projects and they can't see all that stuff, but FEA Nerd Fighters, at least a little bit, it gives people the opportunity to say, hey, look what I did, hey, look at my thoughts on this, and hey, I made a GIF, like, even that, yeah, don't make fun of me for saying GIF, yeah, whatever, like, even the little things, it kind of reminds people that they're still out there and they're still making things and they still want more. Which I think is great, and that's why I love FBI Nerdfighters, is because we get these submissions and because people care about it, and I don't understand why it's such a big deal to people, but that's the only thing I can figure out about it, is that it must be that we give people an opportunity to do stuff openly and freely without prompts, and they can just do whatever they want. And I mean, we can't necessarily post everything, but it at least gets them thinking. Really, I'd like to have a forum again, which is tricky. Like, I wasn't around for my pants. I wasn't a nerd fighter then. I was around for the Ning, and there are a lot of things wrong with the Ning. I think the idea is really good, but I mean, it wasn't handled properly in a lot of ways. It wasn't given the maintenance that it needed. People stopped caring, and people let themselves stop caring. And I mean, that's natural, whatever. The Ning had its go. It was really cool for a while, but now it naturally came to its end, I think. But I don't think we can just let it end there. Like, the discussion can't end with the Ning. And I don't feel like there's really been that much of an effort made to continue that discussion, and that's where my problem is. That's why I'd like to look into some other kind of forum, outside of the Reddit or something like that, because a lot of people have a lot of things to say, whether it's related to nerdfighteria or not. And I mean, I'm making this video because I can't talk to Blaze publicly about this stuff in any other way that I can think of. I mean, I can put it on Tumblr, but I can put this on Tumblr and wherever. This is the best way I can think of. But if there was one place where all the nerd fighters could congregate and share their ideas and feel like a community again, I shouldn't say again, I still feels like a community, and I still love nerd fighters. I don't want people to get the idea that I'm like, oh, nerdfighteria isn't the same. Because, I mean, it isn't the same, but that's cool. You know, like, just because it's different doesn't mean it's inherently bad. I just think it's lacking things. And I mean, it's always going to be lacking something. But I think the important thing is that we do something about it, and that we don't just let it stay there. We can't just let it be the sedentary community that doesn't go anywhere. Because that's not what, I mean, we're not nerd fighters if we're not doing something, you know? And that's why I'm so fascinated by things like the scavenger hunt and Project for Awesome, because it gets people moving. And that, like Blaze says, that's like the core of nerdfighteria, is the idea of sharing these ideas and these thoughts and these projects and these passions with other people and building constructively off of them. And I want to do something about that. I don't know if there's any point to that, but I mean, obviously there's a point, but I don't know, like, I don't really have a good way, like a call to action for you guys. I just want to get you thinking. Please leave video responses if you have any thoughts whatsoever, because I don't know how else we're going to talk about this, which is exactly the problem. Okay, I love you guys, and I love nerd fighters, and you guys are all the best. And I hope you know that I don't mean anything negatively. And what I do, well, I mean, I don't mean anything harmfully. I love nerd fighters so much. I just think we can do even better than what we're doing right now.